Tuesday night, catching up with Lloyd. Some news tonight about the ladies' team.
Yeah, not the best side of the job for me. I've had to speak to the ladies' managers today, Steve and Steve, who've done an amazing job with the first team to get us where we are. But as a club, we've sort of taken a bit of a we've had a really strong look at it and been having lots of meetings behind the scenes about women's football, and we're really struggling in our league campaign this year. And we've asked ourselves what's going to change for next year if we don't make any changes to not just the first team, but the whole structure of women's football. And the first thing we realised is that we needed someone who comes in and heads it, so a figurehead. So me and Dave are the figureheads for the men's football. And we put our heart and soul into that, as you know. But what we need is someone who really champions women's football from the youth team and the early years right the way to the women's first team. So I've been bullying, pestering and persuading Mark Mason, who's already a big sponsor of the club, to come in and be the chairman of the women's team. His first question to me is, what's my job? And I said, listen, it's not to arrange fixtures. Tracy does all that. She's very, very capable. It's to raise funds and raise profile of the women's first team that then actually filters down into the youth teams. Initially, he was like, I haven't got time for that. So I've pestered and been playing paddle with him and getting his ear for an hour and a half at a time. And slowly but surely, he's been really bought into it. And over the last week, we've confirmed that he's going to step into that role. That then led into further conversations about what do we want to do about the management team and the coaching style of what we've got within the first team. And whilst Steve and Steve have done a wonderful job, and we're really, really grateful, we genuinely are for where they've got us, we just feel that we need to get a little bit more experience and a little bit more of a team that's got qualifications that we feel confident that will develop the team to the next stage. So they've done a brilliant job to get us where we are, but we really want to go again and go again. And we don't want to be fighting at the bottom end of the table next year. We want to be progressing. So a little bit like I said in the paper about the men's first team, I just had a chat with the girls myself in the dressing room, and the aim next year is to be better than we were this year. And if we continuously do that, that progression will get us up a league, whether it takes 2 years, 3 years or 4 years. But we're not jumping into that decision. There's also been someone else very much bullied, and that's Barry Fuller, who will do anything for this football club. And I'm really grateful to his wife Laura for supporting the decision. Barry's stepping into that role until we find a suitable team to take over the women's team that we're really confident can push them on.
So Barry's managing the team in the interim?
Barry's the interim manager of the women's first team. So you'll see if you look out at training tonight, he's going to take the training session and not join him in the first team. That's how serious we're taking women's football. Barry is, as you know, one of the biggest players in our men's first team. He's not joining in the session with the first team tonight because he's taking the women's football. And we can't take it more seriously than that. I'm sure I'll get criticism for decisions we've made, but I'm going to tell everybody very, very clearly it's for the best interests of women's football, we believe, that we're making a decision to progress as a club rather than stand still where we are.
And so you'll be making sort of a permanent decision, what, in the summer?
No, we're gonna put the club statement out, and we're gonna put a club advert out, and we're going to interview candidates, and we're going to be very stringent about what we're looking for in terms of development and what they can bring to the team to make them stronger. Mark Mason, as I said, has already managed to raise funds so that the girls' first team next year won't have to pay subs, which is a big. I don't overly want to talk about money, but ultimately that's one of the toughest tasks Steve's had to face. Girls paying subs, and other teams don't have to do that because they raise funds. And that was the first thing I said to Mark, this won't work unless we can raise funds. He's gone away before he committed to the job, spoke to the businesses he knows, and he's already raised the funds so that next year the girls will be sub-free, which will then allow us to attract other players because they haven't got to pay subs.
Yeah, it's really important, this sustainability thing right through the club, isn't it? And the same with the women as the men, I would imagine.
Yeah, and that's what I said to Mark. All Mark's got to do, in the same way that me and Dave have to do, is raise funds to ensure the security of the club. His is now the women's side of the club, ours is the men's side of the club. But I always say this, and this is not a reflection on Steve or, you know, the club's developing, we're growing in teams, but the reality is I back onto Alresford Park, I think I've told you before, and I look out my back window and they have a girls team from 7s up to 18s, and then a first team that do very well and play in leagues above us.
Yeah.
We've got a big stadium, we've got a massive town, we should have a team at every level, and I think at the moment we've got 3 teams and a first team, where I really want 10 teams and a first team, and next year we're also introducing a development team so that when the girls get to 18, if they don't get in the first team, there's still another avenue for them to play football at Ashford United, where up until now, if they don't get in the first team, they have to go and find a new club, and we're changing that for next year as well.
Brilliant. I shall tell my granddaughter she needs to get her boots on and come
Make
up
sure
here.
you do, Jez.
Well done. Thanks for letting us know.
All right, cheers.